and make you a bed. You want to go check it out? I saw this on Pinterest. It's a Japanese style futon bed, and I think I can make it with 2 pillowcases. So my cat doesn't sleep on it. He thinks that it is a toy. My kid thinks that it is great for her doll collection. So you can make it for your kid's doll too. For this project, you will need 2 20 by 30 inches pillowcase, the ones that come with a flap like this. And for the blanket fabric, you can use any Japanese style kind of print. You can use a zipper as a closure. It's not necessary, but this I recommend using a stiff iron-on interfacing. It makes your life easier. So now we will iron the accent fabric, and then we will press the iron-on interfacing onto the back of the accent fabric. So I've measured 1.5 centimeters on all sides, and I'm cutting it out. Okay, so now we bring it back to the ironing board, and we will iron the edges inwards on all sides. And there's one extra step. You want to make the corners a bit more easy to sew so that it look clean. So you have to snip off this little triangle, and when you fold it back, it'll be like flatter and less fabric will poke out from the sides. So we will pin this accent fabric onto the layer without the flap. So we will do this by putting a piece of paper in between. Makes pinning easier, so that you don't pin the bottom layer with it. And we will start sewing. So always remember to back stitch the beginning and end of your stitch line. We're just sewing on the top layer of the pillowcase. So when you reach the corner, you leave your sewing needles inside, and then you lift your sewing foot and then turn it around. And you have to adjust your fabric, like spread it out so that you won't catch the underside of the pillowcase. So we just sew all around this square fabric. And now we're going to shorten it so that it will look like a blanket. So I've measured 24 centimeters from the top, and I will just sew across this line. So I'm not going to cut off anything in case I don't like the project, I get bored of it. I can just take all the stitches out and I will still have my pillowcase intact. So after you flip it out, you see that it will look like a blanket, a square blanket. Okay, we will now sew the zippers, but first we're going to take out some stitches on the side without the flap. So take out all the stitches there. So we're going to match these two sides, that is the sides without the flap. And then we're going to sew on both ends. Okay, so this is where we will sew, right on the crease. Put your zipper upside down, and I baste it first before I sew so that it doesn't shift. And when you near the zipper head, You just leave the sewing needle in, lift the sewing foot, and then you move the zipper head away. And then continue sewing. And then do that to the other side. So if you're not using a zipper, you can leave a small hole, maybe a 5-inch hole right in the middle, so that you can add the stuffing. Okay, now we have the zipper done. We will fold the pillowcase so that the accent fabric is inside, and we will sew down the sides. So just match up the side like so, and sew with a maybe 1 centimeter seam allowance. And then we will flip the pillowcase out. We've created this hole that you can put in your fluff. If you have those polyester stuffing that comes in a sheet, that would be very handy. You can just roll it up and pop it inside. I'm using the loose kind. So after you stuff it, if it is kind of done, and if you want to wash it, you can just pull out the stuffing and wash it. I found out this after I stuffed the pillow, that it gapes when the zipper is zipped. So I went back and hand sewed the seams onto the zipper seams. So if you didn't use a zipper, then you can close the hole by using what's that stitch called? The whipping stitch, the invisible whipping stitch. So here, your stuffing will kind of be protected with that flap. And that's it. I hope you like this DIY, and tag me if you make it. Until next time, bye bye.